Hey folks, it's Bear Gardener, and I have yet another cards video covering the new changes and content that are releasing, in fact, tomorrow. I am, as ever, a cards content creator. You can find all the stuff down below, member of the Kards Contributor Program. I do a lot of content on new players, which this will be relevant to this video, and this video is going to be about the release of the new Blitz tournament format, which is kind of an in-game feature that is coming tomorrow. That's September the 19th, 2024. We'll be launching with the game, be available to play, and I'm going to talk to you a bit about what I think about it, but in specific, I'm going to start with advice for new players. So, if you want to hear my thoughts, stick around, but I'm going to do a too long didn't read for those of you who are new players who are looking at the format. And then, if you want to know more, you can keep watching. But the short form, if you are a new player to this game, if you are following my new player content guides, if you are trying to develop a collection, grow your collection, develop your game, at the moment, the way the system is designed, I can only give you one piece of advice regarding Blitz tournaments, and that is, do not under any circumstances spend your gold to enter Blitz tournaments. It is not going to profit at all. You have only one chance in 8 of coming out ahead of the amount that you've expended, and you have a 50% chance of completely losing your 200 gold. Okay? So that's the too long didn't read. If you are a new player and you are trying to grow your collection, do not play this mode, do not look at this mode as a way to gain or develop anything. There is no benefit currently in this mode for new players, which is kind of sad, but may not remain the thing. I want to get the difficult bit out of the way, because then we can talk about the thing in a bit more detail, which we're going to do now. But there you are. If you want the quick view for new players, there it is. Right. Okay, let's do this in the longer form now. We've had the very quick results, so now we're going to do this in the longer form, and we're going to actually look at this format and the way it's releasing. So, I have the article up on screen, which you can see over there, and I'll talk you through what this is, how it works, and why my opinions were my opinions. So, stage 1. What is a Blitz tournament? Blitz tournament is basically a sit-and-play tournament. So you will enter into a queue, and as soon as there are 8 players, the tournament will start. You will play consecutively until there's a winner. We'll get to that in a minute, but that's the basic idea behind this. So, new format, Blitz Tournament. First of all, I am super excited to see this. This is not a purely negative video. I do have some criticisms and concerns, and I'm going to express those, because that's kind of what I do. I consider myself to be an advocate for the community, and particularly for new players, and I'm going to express certain views that are not entirely positive, but I'm also going to try and remind people that we have a new game mode, and that's something we really need, and I'm very excited to have it, and I think it has a lot of potential. As it is now, I think it needs changes, but we'll get to that. But I am super excited that we have this feature in game, and I'm super excited to be around to see it grow and develop and change and become more interactive and have different options, and we'll talk about those as we go. But anyway, let's take a look at what we know about Blitz tournaments, and I'll let you know some stuff that I know that isn't in the article, which I've been told I'm allowed to tell you. So, thrilled to announce new feature, yada yada yada. Very cool. Blitz tournaments, as I say, they are a sit and go format. So as soon as there is a queue of 8 players, off you go. You bring one deck, and you play that deck. You make no changes. There is no alteration. There are no bans. It is closed list, so you won't know what your opponents are playing, and you will play as you go. So let's see the format. So here's the format. 8 slots, simple enough, single elimination to a final. So you've got round 1, round 2, and a final. So in effect, you've got quarterfinals, semi-finals, and final, if you are sports inclined. So how this will function, let's look at what they actually say about it. So instant start. So the tournament kicks off as soon as there are 8 players, so this is classic sit and go. So you don't wait around except until there are 8 players. It looks like, and I'm grateful to see this, that bots are not involved in this. They're not going to pad out slots with bots, which on the plus side means that we don't have to deal with bots with limited AI not being good to play into. On the downside, this does mean that if it's not a popular format, you might be waiting a long time, and then there might be a snapfire and the tournament starts, which is interesting, and it will depend on how used this format is. Next thing we've got is bring your best deck. So you can bring any deck of your choice, just like in regular matches. I assume this will be ranked or casual, therefore not classic. It says ranked or casual, so it will only be the current card pool. I'm hoping that there will be features in the future to tweak that and get to that at the end. So pick your deck. Alright, next one is fast-paced matches, and I have a little bit of extra information on this, which we've been able to gain as community contributors through cards. So, fast-paced matches, to keep the action moving, Blitz tournaments will feature a significantly shortened turn timer. Now, I believe the current turn timer is 75 seconds. I know that the new turn timer for Blitz tournaments will be 40 seconds, so it's nearly half the time. So you are going to definitely want to think about that in the deck that you bring if you're going to compete in these tournaments. And I'll get to why I'm not sure that's a good thing in a bit. But I do understand it from the point of view of making sure this doesn't take a long time. Continuous play. After you've won your match, next round begins as soon as your opponent's ready. So presumably there'll be a little countdown timer, but the idea is there's no breaks. So you will finish your match, you'll wait until your opponent's ready to go, and then you'll snap into that, play that, wait until your next opponent's ready to go, and so on, until we get to the final. So far, so cool. Like, the format, I like this. I like that it plays a little bit like Blitz chess. The idea of... I personally don't mind the idea of the reduced turn timer. I want to see it in play to see how reduced it is. I do have concerns that this will become an aggro-only environment, which would not be ideal. But there's plenty of room in the future for adjusting turn timers or having different deck restrictions and stuff like that, and that's exciting too. This is a framework that you can definitely build on and do really cool and exciting stuff with. Imagine, for example, that you have a Pauper tournament mode. You can click it and only Pauper decks, that is limited and standard cards only, can enter into the tournament. That'd be amazing. Hopefully we will see the ability to set up a private version of this tournament in some format. I know that might be difficult to do because of the entry requirements, which we'll get to in a minute. But that would also be cool so that people like myself and other content creators could host tournaments using this framework, especially if we can put changes into it. That would be super exciting to me. I would love to be able to do that and to take part in it. So all of that is super cool. I like the format, I like the clean idea, I like the fact that we have a cool looking leaderboard that you'll be able to see. Now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of it and talk about the actual cost-benefit analysis of the tournament. This is where things start to get a little sketch, as the kids say. Grandpa Dinosaur in the hood. Right, so entry requirements and rewards. So Blitz tournaments are open to everyone. Easy to jump and compete whenever. This worries me. I shall explain why. This is suggestive that if you are a new player with a low 20s, like a 20 or higher rank account, you could queue into a Blitz tournament against Field Marshal players with full collections and just get hammered. Of course, the key to this is if the rewards are worth the effort, then that's not so bad. A little bit like Draft. You look at Draft has already established this idea of a mode where you have a loose point at which you can kind of lose out, but then after a certain point you can basically profit or at least break even, and that's going to be critical. We'll get to that in a minute. But I am concerned that there's no matchmaking in this. Maybe something to address 1939. Entry fee. Right. This is going to be controversial. I understand why it is there. because it needs to be. This is a game and it needs an economy and it needs a development, and if you just create a tournament that everyone can snap into for free that gives rewards, it's incredibly exploitable. So obviously, just like draft, you need an entry fee or a limit to tickets. Get tickets in a minute. Cost to enter a Blitz tournament is 200 gold or 20 diamonds. Right. If you drop out before the first match starts, you get a full refund. This is good. This means that you can't just pay, queue in, wait for 10 minutes, get bored, drop out and lose 200 gold. That's good. We don't want to just pitch 200 gold for no benefit. That would be silly, right? Bear with. Anyway, the deal then. So 200 gold, 20 diamonds, price is the price. I'm not even going to dicker over it or talk about what the value or isn't is. They've set the price and they've set the price. I think it's a little bit too high. But as long as the rewards match it, who cares? Speaking of rewards, okay, so the winner of the tournament will take home one Officer Core card pack. So it's core set, it's an Officer pack, which means it's worth 330 gold and contains anything from previous parts of the game but not from the current expansion. A special wild card, that's nice. Special wild cards are good, they have great long-term value. A limited gold card, which is just kind of shiny. Random limited gold card, kind of funky, nice to see. Right, so that's what you get for winning. It's alright, it's decent value. So 200 gold, you plus that, you're basically, it's more or less double bubble. You are basically doubling up. It's decent value. Right. The runner-up, second place, will receive one standard core pack, that's 100 gold, and a limited wild card. I don't know how to value a limited wild card. Let's call it generously 20 gold. That's bad. For the second place player in a tournament to lose entry fee is bad. Just want to be clear about that. It's not good. Third and fourth place players get a standard core pack, losing half of their gold. And then the one that I really have a problem with this mode, and I really do. Half the pool, that is everyone who loses in their first round match, gets nothing. I'll say that again. 50% of the entrants to this tournament who pay 200 gold to play get nothing. This, as much as I love 1939, and they know I do, and I'm always here to talk about stuff like this, and I so wish that there'd been some form of consultation with the player base and tournament players about design of this, because if you'd reached out to me, or to J King, or to BVG, or to any number of the Chinese community, there are loads of us who would have told you this was a bad plan. I know you're being conservative, but this is awful. The idea that 50% of people are throwing away 200 gold, and that if you do get past throwing away 200 gold and absolutely blitz it and win, you double up, but otherwise basically the best you're going to get is kind of breaking even. This is really bad. This is a thing. So, and then we get to the final sentence, and I really wish, and honestly, this is just a request, can we please just take the sentence off the website? Not because I'm not going to get passionate or irritated, I'm not going to yell at 1939, but I personally object to false information. The last sentence here says, securing just one win ensures a prize payout and 2 wins puts you in the plus. I've just demonstrated, as has J King in his video, which I will link down below, that that is not true. Everyone loses except the winner. I'll say that again. Everyone loses except the winner, and maybe second place kind of breaks even. I know why you don't want to put that sentence on the website, obviously, but can we remove the one that actually tells people that securing a win puts them in a plus, because that is really bad information for new players who think that they only have to get 1 win to be in the plus. New players, if you've watched this long, you are not in the plus after 1 win. After one win, you get half the value of what you've put in. 2 wins, you get like 75% at best. It's just not worth it. Right. Next one, and this is very baffling. I think it will be toned down. I will say from the beginning, I think this is just a safety measure in case anyone finds a way to exploit this. And I think it will eventually be removed or tweaked. But at the moment, matches played in Blitz Tournament do not count towards daily missions. I personally think that's sensible because it prevents people putting ridiculous jank ambush decks into a tournament. Not that you'd want to pay 200 gold to do that, but you might. Seasonal rank, obviously this should have no effect on seasonal rank, it's a completely different game mode. National progression. Why? Okay, I know we want to be conservative, I know we want to avoid exploitation, but I don't see a way to exploit this, and I certainly don't see why slightly accelerated games and national progression is a bad thing. Just turn it on. Just turn it on and let it count towards national progression. It's not like anyone's going to play this mode anyway. Not right now. Can be changed. And then we've got, this allows you to fully focus on tournaments without any distractions, providing a pure competitive... Go see J King's video, I'm not going to retread the same ground over why that sentence is actually inaccurate. Right, leaderboard and competitive spirit. Now, I'm going to get a bit preachy here, because I have very strong views on the way that one does competitive in any environment. Because I have, for the record, played and coached competitive sports at decent level. I've been involved in lots of competitive tabletop games, and I've been involved in all sorts of competitive physical conflict. I know quite a lot about how the mentality works. In fact, I do videos on it, which you can find on my channel down below. So there is going to be a seasonal leaderboard, and the person who wins the most Blitz tournaments will be on top of it. Seasonal leaderboard, fine. Person who wins the most Blitz tournaments, no. You need to factor win rate and some kind of other breakers into that, not just how many tournaments you've paid, entered, and won. But fine. Recognition and bragging rights, please remove this. Just remove that entire paragraph from this article. Just take it, delete it, and never think back on it. This is ridiculous, pointless, and entirely valueless. Competitive players don't care about bragging rights. We don't, sorry. We know how good we are by testing ourselves against other top competitive players, and all this is going to do is make lots and lots of newer players feel bad about the fact that they can't pin wins and climb a leaderboard. Finally, can we please, pretty please, have some rewards at the end of the season, the end of the month, for the people in, say, the top 5 places or the top 10 places or the top whatever places on the leaderboard that are actually significant. Because otherwise, this is a gigantic dick-swinging exercise. I'm sorry. That was over-passionate. I don't normally do that in my videos. I'm not going to cut it out, but I am putting the apology in there. These videos are marked as made for adults. It is adult language. I try not to use it too often, but it does happen. This is ridiculous. It's just an ego trip, and that's never healthy. Okay? If you're going to have a ladder board like this, and you totally should, it needs to have teeth. It needs to be worth being on and make us as competitors care. Finally, the paragraph that is the defining thing, and the thing that I really do want to focus on here, is that continued iteration. This is not the final form. There is going to be growing and learning, and that's good because, as I've just demonstrated, there's a lot of growing and learning to do. Right, let's go and summarize some thoughts. Alright, so if you've stuck with me this long, firstly, thank you. I'm trying to keep this video short because I don't want this to get into a huge long thing, but I have strong opinions on this, as you will have noted. I want to summarise by saying I'm super excited by this mode. I think adding a new game mode to the game is fantastic, and I think the framework is brilliant. It is so flexible once you can code in some extra toggles, some levers and dials that we can play with to limit what you can do in it and change the decks that can be played in it. But there are big concerns for me from the top One, right now, this mode is just not worth playing for anyone ever, except as an ego exercise. I'm sorry, the prizes just aren't good enough to justify the entry cost. How would I fix this? I don't normally do this, but what the hey. Let's go for it. Those who lose in the first round should get 1 core pack. They should get half their money back, and preferably 50 gold. I think that would be fair. Maybe slightly less if you really want to be mean about it, but they should not stand to lose more than about a quarter of what they put in, because they've put in resources and are betting on themselves, and you should be encouraging that. Those who go a step further should break even. And you can do that super easily. Just give them two random packs, 2 random standard packs. Next, we get to the people who get deeper into the tournament, and these people should be in profit. So these people should absolutely end up ahead of the game. So if you have managed to win your first round, then you should be not losing. If you lose in the first round, you should not lose too much. If you win your first round, you should break even. If you hit round 2, you should start hitting profit. Couple of standard packs and some gold. I'd say 50, but you can do this. It puts you 50 gold in profit. I'd like it to be more, but you know, hey, I just do 3 standard packs. I think that's pretty reasonable. Or a couple of standard packs and some like a limited, maybe a couple of limited wild cards, something like that. Maybe even throw some standard or wild cards in there or something similar. There's loads that you can do with it. Anyway, then we get to the finalists, and this is where it should get interesting. The person who finishes second should probably be on or about what you consider to be the top prize right now. Officer pack, special wild card, some other shiz, and shiny gold thing. And hey, how about a temporary card back? It's not like we can't do it for season wins. Maybe you get a card back that you get that you can keep for that season to say, I won a Blitz tournament. Wouldn't that be cool? Or a little title that appears next to your name. Or little stars marking how many Blitz tournaments. There's so many things you could do with this that are purely cosmetic that would be interesting too. Finally, the person who wins this, who has put 200 gold in and put in the effort to do this, deserves a good payout. And I think they deserve a really good payout. Honestly, I wouldn't see anything wrong with going, you get a special wild card and 2 officer packs. And some random gold cards. Be generous. Make it worth competing in these tournaments. Secondly, matchmaking. If you listen to one suggestion, it should be the one above, by the way. If you listen to 2 suggestions, get some form of matchmaking in this. It is not good to have newer players enter a fun-looking mode and then get utterly steamrolled by people with full collections and then get dejected and just go, I don't want to do this anymore. Those are the 2 big suggestions I would make. Everything else is iterative, stuff that we can do that's fun. Pauper format, classic format, some form of nation-specific format, like you get assigned nations before the tournament. And above all else, I would love you to make available to content creators access to some form of this tournament framework so we can host them. In a perfect world, because why not go for a perfect world, I would love you to please make this available to me, but at normal turn timer, so that I can host relatively efficient tournaments for people on my Discord and who follow me, and I can use some of the prize pool that you give me every month to encourage even more involvement. Just a thought, but we could promote it, we could talk about it, there could be cool stuff in it. There's loads of funky stuff that I could do with this. When this first got announced, I was like, what if I announce a Pauper tournament in which people can enter, play up to it, and then the winner gets a chance to come and play like a best of 3 against me or one of the other top players if I can convince them to do it in a pauper-only format, and we stump up some officer packs as a prize fund. Wouldn't that be cool? All of these things are things that we can already kind of do in a clunky way in-game, but if you're going to have this mode, I'd love to have enough access to the switches and levers to be able to actually do this, because I think this mode could be amazing for this game. I'll say that again. I think this mode could be amazing for this game if it's done right. Right, that's it. I'm getting close to 30 minutes, and I have no intention of allowing this to go past 30 minutes because you guys have better things to do with your time. TLDRs at the beginning of the video. Like, subscribe, all that gubbins. Join my Discord, all the links are down below, as is the link to J King's video on this exact same subject, which is excellent. As always, stay well, be good human beings, and I will see you next time.